Stickers.
Who do you think are the main purchasers of Smack's work?
Yeah. Bam. This one. All right, that took a second. Hello, everybody. I can't see any names right now because I don't have on my glasses, but hello. Welcome in. Guest box is open, as you can see. Hello, Crystal Clear. Hello, Nicholas. Hello, Marvin. Hello, Jay. Hello, Richard. With this one, it doesn't matter if the lighting is off because the camera's always on. Let me change this real quick. There we go. And do all the other things. So many of the settings have moved around. There we go. We're talking about the 4B movement today since that's making a resurgence. And we're also talking about how, hey Chico, hello Harper, hello Karen. Open it. If you want to come up, the guest box is open with the caveats that you will see listed when you read the intro message. Bam. I support the 4B movement, right on. 4B2A. I was going to put America only because I think we're the only country that refers to that as the Second Amendment, but really any country with rights to firearms is welcome. Hello, Sammy. Hello, Dynamic. I also support 4B. I'm not in it because I have a guy, but I support it. I'm all about women's autonomy and female separatism, however this wants to look. Because 4B is an autonomous movement and should be respected as such. Everyone has rights, even people who you don't like. Exactly. That is exactly right, Sammy. Why can't I pin that comment? Maybe I can't pin the comment because I have this going on, which this shouldn't affect it because there are no guests. Remember when we could pin comments even when we had guests? Like, holy shit. TikTok used to work a lot better than it does now. The cat is so abundant. What is a 4B movement going to do? What is a 4B movement going to do? You want to come up? We can talk about it. SealBeater, you strive for my attention. You really do. And it's honestly kind of weird. You know what? Let's go ahead. I don't know what D3 is. I mean, 3D. My bad.
Hi. I think this is the first time I've ever requested. So nice to talk to you.
Yeah. What's up?
So 4B movement, Second Amendment. I personally am a huge advocate of both, so I thought I would lend my voice to the discussion.
Go ahead.
I am all for the 4B movement. If any woman decides to waste her limited time to reproduce, to take herself out of the gene pool, I think that's nature in action. I think that's a good thing. We should. If any woman decides that she would rather not have children, then don't. Please. There's plenty of other women out there who do.
You know that's not all it's about, though, right?
The 4B movement, I know what the Korean 4B movement was about. I have no idea what the American 4B movement is about, because apparently no one can seem to get themselves on the same page. Perhaps you could enlighten me.
It seems like you're already pretty enlightened.
I am, actually. I like to think so, but you have to be careful of pride. But go ahead. Please tell me. I'd like to hear your point of view on the 4B movement. Let's hear your definition of it.
I think we have the same definition.
Oh, so women are basically deciding not to have children for whatever reason, right?
It's not just about children.
No relationships, no dependencies, basically just Xing the male sex out of their lives completely.
Sure.
I am all for it. If that's what you want to do it, please. It will help weed out the women that men
What's up, Dynamic?
don't have to waste their time on.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing quite well. What would you like to say about the topic?
I agree with what Odu's saying at the top. And plus, if you want to be a mean and defined masculine feminist woman, and now you want to be in the 4B,
Hey, what we're not going to do is defame women, calling them mean. So for everything that SealBeater is, including an absolute simp for trans men, he hasn't called anyone mean nor thrown any personal insults, and we're not going to do that here.
I didn't say anybody was personally. I didn't say anybody.
No, you went out of your way to call women mean and masculine, which is also very racist language, because it's very historically accurate to try to strip especially black women of their femininity. So we're not going to do
But
that.
black people can't be racist.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You're not going to do anything
I
to
don't.
demean.
I don't.
You're not going to do anything to demean black women's femininity. Do you understand? Yes or no?
How's it
It's a simple
racist?
question.
How can black
I'm
people be
sorry.
racist though? I thought black people couldn't be racist.
I said it's in reinforcing a racist trope.
Saying someone is mean is being racist now.
Did I say being mean, or did I say stripping black women of their femininity?
I didn't mean all black women. You just took it as that after I just said, you didn't even let me finish my statement. You just took it as that.
So you're talking to someone that you perceive as a black woman right now, correct?
I didn't say you were mean.
You're talking to someone that you perceive as a black woman right now, correct? Yes or no? I'm asking you
I
simple
don't know
yes
what
or
you.
no questions. If
I
you
don't know
can't
what you
answer the
perceive
question,
yourself
sir, you're
as.
going to drop. I swear.
I don't know what you perceive yourself of. You can be a unicorn for all I know.
All right, well, you can't answer simple yes or no questions, unlike Seal. For everything that he is, he can answer a yes or no question, so you can go. All right, we got somebody else. Hello, Monroe.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing quite well. So this is my new favorite simp up here. He absolutely loves to simp for trans people. Seal, say hello.
Hello, Monroe. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I am very well, thank you.
All right,
I hope you are.
Monroe, what would you like to say about the topic?
I think our Second Amendment right should be protected. I don't think we should take it away, and the 4B movement is absolutely vacuous. And the
This isn't
people,
about taking away the Second Amendment.
but I don't get it.
This is about how 4B and 2A go hand in hand.
Host, can I ask a question?
You know what? Not right now. I want to continue with Monroe. Monroe, please go ahead and expand on what you were saying.
I think people who partake in the 4B movement are like vacuous individuals. I don't think they know what they're talking about, and they don't understand how privileged they are to be American women. So I want them to go to Saudi Arabia and say the same thing.
So that's interesting that people bring up Saudi Arabia. We're not in Saudi Arabia. We're in America.
Exactly.
And to say that people are privileged when like a whole rapist got elected to be president is pretty undermining of the overall systems that we are operating under. Do you understand that that this country is built off of chattel slavery and native genocide?
Well, when you're talking about
It's a yes or no question, Monroe. You're going to answer this question, yes or no? Do you understand that the United States is built off of chattel slavery and native genocide? Yes or no?
Fuck you, I'm out of here.
Bye. That was a very, very complicated way to say yes. Hey, Em. What else we got? The ethicist.
Host, can I ask you a question before you?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Is the implication of the 4B movement adjoined with the Second Amendment some sort of appeal to the right to self-defense?
Appeal to the right of self-defense. Sure, if that's how you want to take it.
Okay, then I don't see why anyone would have any problem with it. I am all for every woman on the planet having a pew-pew and being able to defend herself. I wish we lived in that kind of world.
All right. That's wonderful. Thank you for expanding on that. The ethicist, please go ahead.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. How about yourself?
Very, very good. Yeah, I've seen this 4B thing go around. I just, can you just enlighten me? What are the 4 things? It's like no sex out of marriage, what was the other ones? No marriage, no, what other things?
You would do better to know what the subject matter is about before coming into a panel about it.
Well, I have a basic premise. I just, regardless, I think it's very interesting. I think it's exactly what the patriarchy has been fighting for the last, 20 years. And they're finally giving in.
Only 20 years? That's interesting. Please expand on that.
Oh, sure, maybe longer. I don't know. I just think over the last 20 years or so, which is the majority of my adult, they've been fighting for women to kind of stop embracing this feminist ideology and embrace the patriarchy. And in the 4B movement finally sounds like they're doing it.
How so?
Well, that's what the patriarchy wanted. They wanted them to stop embracing their sexuality, stop having schmecks with every man, because they're a strong, independent woman and they can, embrace their sexuality and all this kind of stuff. And the patriarchy never was really in support of that.
I have to agree. The funny thing about the situation,
hey, if I may add, nobody was talking to you, baby. You're gonna sit quiet and be my good little simp, okay? You sit tight. I'm gonna respond. So you do understand that women will still be having sex, just not with men, right? Just to get that out there. Seal, you will wait your turn. I know that you are an adult. You are my good little trans simp, and I love you. Okay, you're gonna sit tight.
Also, so the women in the 4B are all moving to.
So I'm going to respond to what you initially said before Seal kept trying to interrupt me, but unfortunately, I'm the one with the mute button. So women aren't going to stop having sex. They're not going to stop embracing their sexuality. They're just not going to share that with men. And it's
That's
also
fine.
about no dating, no marriage, no childbirth. Seal, baby,
just real fast.
Baby cakes.
I know, but what you said.
Seal, you have to go now. You can either wait your turn, or you can drop. That's how this works, babe. But you can come back up after I finish my statement. So, this is also about no marriage, no dating with men. It doesn't say with women. It doesn't say, women are going to stop masturbating or anything like that. It's do you understand that part, ethics?
Yeah, I mean, I get it that they will still
Okay.
kind of do whatever they want to do.
And women
I
will
think
also still have jobs and whatnot, still making their own money. Like, do you know how good women are at building relationships within their communities and with themselves?
yeah, probably the best.
Okay, we agree on that. That's awesome. So the point is that women don't need men. Do you get that?
Well, see, that's where I would disagree. I think that men need women and women need men.
For
I think
what?
we are.
Wait, why do you think that men need women? Go ahead. I want you to expand on that, please.
Well, yeah, I think women give men a lot of guidance and a lot of. I think without good women, it's hard to find virtuous men.
That is interesting. I've never heard anybody say that before. That's a very interesting take. Would you mind expanding on that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So like and this is the anti-feminist ideology kind of, is that as women have turned less what the patriarchy would consider good women, men have become less virtuous, right? So if women hold out and they don't give up the goods, so to speak, to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, then men have to be virtuous. They have to be the best versions of themselves to get what men ultimately want, right? And this feminist ideology told women that they can
All right,
embrace
so
their.
we're not going to monologue. I'm going to respond to what you said. So basically, you have admitted that men use women. Because we both know that married women, well, let's be specific. Women who are married to men don't live as long as women who don't get married or they got divorced at some point and they don't have children. We both know that, right?
Can I respond to that?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to try
we
to
also
respond
both
before you
know
go
that
on.
I'm not done talking. So we also both know that men who get married to women, they live longer. And we know it's because of the labor of women, because women are the ones making sure that they go to the doctor. Women are the ones making sure that their environment is clean. Women do all that. We both understand that too, right? You can go ahead and answer a yes or no question.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I got muted. Yeah, no, I agree with the second point. Can I address the first point though?
No, we're going to keep going. So
Okay.
since we know that women who get married live less and men who get married, of course using heterosexual language here, live longer, to me, as somebody with a uterus, that tells me that men are vampires. And I'm sure as somebody with, I assume, a penis and testicles, that benefits you to vampire off of somebody with a uterus. You're a vampire, sir.
Do
you understand you're a vampire?
Just to address the first, I don't think that's quite analogous, but to address the first
we have
point.
the statistics that speak for themselves, right? You don't have to believe me. Everybody in the chat, y'all don't have to believe me. You can look it up. Women who get married to men don't live as long.
Well, that's only in modernity. That's only in modernity, though.
And we live in modernity. That's not a gotcha.
Right. Yeah, but we don't necessarily will always live in modernity, right? If men become super weak, right? If the majority of men become super weak in the US, right? And another country comes in and we don't have any strong men that can stand up and protect the women, the men from other countries are going to come in and...
Are we going down the Hitler? Are we going down the hard times, mate? How you doing? Hang on a second. Are we going down the...
No, I'm just...
Hard times make hard men? Or is that what we're doing? Because you got to go if that's what you're doing.
No,
we can't have Nazis in here.
No, that's not what I'm doing. All I'm doing is pointing out...
Hang on a second. I can't... Hang on, I got to explain something. So if more than one person is talking, I can't hear. So person with Black Lives Matter in their thing, you got to stay quiet while we're talking so we can hear. Ethicist, please go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't going down that trope of the good men make whatever and bad good times, all that. Wasn't my point. I was just pointing out the nature, the fact of nature that countries do invade other countries all the time, and if that happens, we no longer live in modernity.
Okay. Well, I'm neither here nor there on that one.
At that
could
point,
be your theory.
At that point, women would need men, and at that point, women would need men.
Oh, they would? Tell me more.
To protect themselves from other men, yes.
Men. So women need men to protect them from men. What about guns?
Yeah, guns aren't absolute equalizer.
Guns are a good equalizer, to be perfectly honest with you.
A man with a gun can outperform a woman with a gun.
Says who? Give me the source on that one.
Yeah, they can carry more guns. They can reload faster. They're quicker. They have better aim.
Give me the source.
All those things are true.
Where are the statistics on that?
Men. You can look at men are better under stressful situations. You can look that up. That's why men
actually are better under stressful
fighter
situations.
pilots.
That's actually why they say women and children first, because men aren't better under stressful situations.
Well, no, men are disposable. That's why they save women and children, because men are disposable.
No, they save women and children because men actually act up under stressful situations.
Well, and also, because we need women and children for the next generation.
I want to expand on men being disposable. Where did that come from?
Well, men have always been disposable in war. That men get sent off to the trenches. Women and children are protected and saved.
Why is that?
Because we need the next generation, and one man can inseminate many women.
Okay, well that sounds like it should be the opposite. So that means that that sounds like men should be more valuable because they can impregnate more women at once.
No, it makes them less valuable.
Explain.
Because you don't need a whole bunch of men. You don't need a whole bunch of men. You only need a handful of men to bring on the next generation. You need a bunch of women. You need a ton of women to repopulate the United States.
Okay. So who made this concept?
Right?
Of people being
men are disposable.
Hang on. I'm asking you another question. Who brought on this concept of men being disposable? Women or men?
Mother Nature. Mother Nature. It's been the way since the beginning of time. That's not a man
or a woman. Who brought on the concept of men being, of anyone, not just men, but of anyone being disposable? Who brought that on?
Well, it's Mother Nature. So it's the existence of the human kind.
You obviously need some help. Capitalism brought on this idea that people are disposable. White supremacy brought on this idea.
Can I ask you a question?
Disposable. No, you cannot. White supremacy brought on this idea that people are disposable. No one is disposable. Everyone has inherent human value and human worth. Ison, please go ahead.
Sorry, I was chewing.
Chewing? Oh, okay. Take your time. I don't want you. Don't choke on your food. Take your time.
Yeah, what he was saying was wild.
Yeah, that whole idea that people are disposable, that's white supremacy, babe.
Because I wanted to ask him, who perpetuates the sentiment that men are disposable? Because I guess it's anecdotal, but my wife had never told me I'm disposable.
For real.
My cousins, my co-workers, I've never been made to feel by women that I'm disposable. If there are men who are being made to feel that way, I would truly ask you to look and see who's the ones making you feel that way. Because capitalism benefits generally cis white men.
Right.
So this whole thing that is being projected on the women about the disposability of men was brought on and reinterpreted by other men.
No woman has laid the foundation that men are disposable. Nobody in a civilized society which the United States obviously doesn't live in, no one is disposable. There's no such thing as disposable people. It's been made very clear time and time again that under white supremacy, the United States of America is not a civilized society. I'm gonna invite David. David, what's up?
Hey,
How are you, David?
hope everybody's having a good day.
Oh, hang on, David. David, how old are you?
36.
36. All right, go ahead.
I just want to say I hope everybody can be respectful on it because I feel like I'll probably ruffle some feathers. You said that it's a white issue, right? It's racism that's.
Oh, I didn't say it's a white issue. I said it's white supremacy. White supremacy is a system.
Right. So I'm curious if you're saying that white supremacy is the issue and that's the ones perpetuating that humans don't have value, like inherently don't have a value. What that would in turn say, like we're saying slavery across the board for all of human history, that wasn't white supremacy. Like there's no.
Why are you talking about slavery? Does anything over here? Hang on, David. Do you have a 7th grade reading comprehension level?
No, it's much higher.
Okay. So you don't have a 7th grade reading comprehension level?
Well, at a minimum, yes.
Okay. So you understand what this prompt over here says?
I do. Right. 4B.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about the prompt. We're not talking about slavery.
Yeah. No, I wasn't talking about it. What I was saying was you're saying that it's white supremacy.
I'm saying we're gonna talk about the prompt because you're gonna go into all slavery is equal, and that's gonna try to demean the.
No, that's not what I was going to. What I was saying is you're saying that white supremacy is the reason.
I'm talking right now. Demean chattel slavery. So, yes, all slavery is bad. The slavery that's going on in Congo is bad. The slavery that went on here is bad. The slavery that's still going on here is bad with wage slavery and mass incarceration. And as citizens of the United States of America, chattel slavery and native genocide built this country. And that's all we're going to say about that. We're going to talk about the topic.
I'm all for talking about the topic. Absolutely. I was just kind of caveat.
So what would you like to say about 4B and Second Amendment? Go ahead.
I guess I'll challenge your opinion on it or your viewpoint. What is your? You can pick either one. I want to say what's your opinion or what your effectiveness of it on either one is. How are you personally affected by either movement or the amendment?
Oh, this isn't about how I'm personally affected by them. I support both these things.
Right. So that's what I'm asking. Like, affected one way or the other. What's your opinion?
Did you just call me Ice-T? Ice-T? No, I'm not talking to you, David. I'm talking to somebody in the comments. Not Mr. T because of the mohawk, which is what I usually get. Which white people really think they're doing something with that, but really you're just saying all black people look alike.
Yeah,
but like Ice-T is light skinned with like slick back perm. Motherfucker, you know what? Comments off. Fuck y'all. Calling me Ice-T. Ice-T's a cop. ACAB includes every character Ice-T ever played. Fuck you. Go to hell. All right, David, go ahead.
Right. So I was asking, do you support the 4B movement?
Yes.
What do you think comes from that? What do you think the goal is, or what do you hope the goal is by the 4B movement?
Oh, I don't have any hopes for it. It's an autonomous movement. It's not for me or anyone else to give a forecast on that.
So you don't feel one way or the other about it?
About what you said, what do I hope the goal is? I don't
like you said you support the movement, right?
Yeah, so I don't have hopes with the understanding. Do you know what an autonomous movement is? Do you know what that means?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, it's sir. So you understand that there is like it can be anything the autonomous person wants it to be. So it's not for me to try to project on other people what this is gonna look like.
Well, so in that 4B movement, like what I'm saying is part of the goal is, hey, and there's a lot of phrases and slogans that come along with it. But my question is Is there anything there that you said you agree with it? Is there anything that say, I hope that we become a better society because of this, or I hope that the movement, is able to propagate change in this manner? Or is it just a blanket, like, hey, whatever they do, I support?
I mean, you can have those things. I want whatever the people that are participating in this want. Because I support it, but I'm not participating because I have a guy.
So, then I'll move on to the second amendment there, right? So we're supporting, are we for or against?
For.
Okay. So in your opinion on this, for the Second Amendment, do you think that there should be any restrictions whatsoever on that Second Amendment? Or do you believe that it's a right or that it's a privilege?
So, do I think it's a right or a privilege? Yeah. With the way our Constitution's set up, it's a right.
Okay. I agree. No, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in that itself, you can kind of make the argument that the Second Amendment for the 4B movement itself would kind of go hand in hand, as well as for feminism, as well as for kind of a lot of, I won't say left-leaning ideology, where it would support those ideologies itself. Or it would be in totality at least a boon to accomplishing those goals, right? So with the 4B, I'm totally against the 4B because I think it's a rebrand of a rebrand of a rebrand, and I think it's just more of a fear-mongering type ordeal where you can say, hey, I hope that you accomplish your goals. I hope everybody lives a life that.
So are you saying that as a man?
Well, yes, I am.
Okay, so you as a man speaking against something that actively doesn't benefit you doesn't really matter.
Well, so and that's kind of the point that has come across for a bunch of people is you support it.
It doesn't benefit you. Therefore,
right, so
it's not made for you. Therefore, it doesn't matter whether or not you like it.
Yeah, but see, the problem though is if we're gonna move against
David, there is no but. Do you understand what I said? It doesn't. It's not made for you. Therefore, it's like that's like me having an opinion on what do we call them? Where you go and you donate sperm. That's like me having an opinion on that. Like it's not my sperm.
But you're welcome to have an opinion.
I don't have ejaculant like that. Therefore, I don't have an opinion on people who go donate their sperm.
Well, you're welcome to have an opinion, right? So that's the fallacy. That
doesn't matter. That's the thing because it doesn't affect who goes in there. Doesn't affect me. How long you take doesn't affect me. I'm not gonna use the shit. So it doesn't matter.
So I think that's kind of the fallacy that's been introduced is, well, it doesn't affect you, so you can't say this, or you can't have an opinion or a thought on it.
No, I'm not saying you can't. Hey, sir, I'm not here to tell anybody what they can and can't do. We all adults up in here. Well, I'm just saying your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah, and isn't that part of the 4B movement?
For you as somebody who this does not directly benefit, the patriarchy has told you your whole life that everything is supposed to benefit you. So when you're confronted with something that doesn't benefit you, you feel like your rights are being taken away.
I was never told that it should benefit me.
Yes, you were. Be it subconsciously, overtly, or subvertly.
Right.
You were told that everything around you is supposed to benefit you under the patriarchy, and now you're confronted with something that doesn't, and you feel like you're
quite the contrary. No, actually, quite the contrary. And I think that's again, this is a little hard when you get into the side of things where it's, hey, you systemically you're here and you benefit because you're white, or I'm at a disadvantage because I'm black, or this person is disadvantaged because they're of a minority, back and forth. I think you start to show and inhibit and kind of project onto people what they experience themselves, right? And I don't like to do that for anybody. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody that their experience isn't valid because, oh, well, this isn't here. You went through it. That's your experience. It's validated. But to say that all people there went through or have the same understanding or idea, that's a little disingenuous. Like, there was nobody that's ever in my life said everything should benefit you. And that's a problem. Now we're saying that's everything should benefit you, and it's not fair to other people if it doesn't.
But did you hear where he said you weren't told explicitly but subconsciously?
Correct. So my subconscious, right? I was shown propaganda that said, hey, this should benefit you. Or somebody was in my ear and I didn't realize it because of the cartoons that I was watching subconsciously, right? I was raised on nobody owes you anything.
David, hang on a second. Ison is speaking. Ison, please go ahead.
No, if anything, it was to whatever it was he was about to say. But yes, even if it's amazing that you brought up cartoons, because that was the exact frame that I was thinking of. If you go back and
report on the live, you're all black.
Okay. Anyway, Ison, please go ahead.
If you want to, you said you were at 30, if I recall correctly.
I think you said 36.
Even better. So you're quite familiar with 90s cartoons, 90s media, things of the nature, and how they almost always had a white-centered lead with a quirky character of color sidekick.
Uh-huh.
And then simultaneously, black kids and kids of color had to project themselves into these particular roles because shows that featured black kids and kids of color as leads weren't as common to come by or didn't last as long. We got lucky with First Prince.
We got lucky with Family Matters.
That was my next one. We got lucky with Sister Sister. We barely made it with Smart Guy. My Cousin Skeeter, The Famous Jet Jackson. These were shows that had black leads, but how often are they talked about to the same velocity of Family Full House, Modern Family, these other full Caucasian cast? Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, all the way Power Rangers, always had a white lead with POC sidekicks.
We didn't start getting POC leads for Power Rangers until much more recently. Now, I almost forgot about TJ because he was a Red Ranger. That's neither here nor there. You have all these mediums, and just picking cartoons from your example that reiterate that, white people, Caucasian people, specifically Caucasian straight men, are supposed to be the center of the attention.
Yep.
So my question to you is this. If we're going to posit that point there, right? Okay. Why in all media, what's the goal of media at the end of the day, right? Any business, and I say media, what's the goal of a business at the end of the day?
I don't know. What is it?
It's to make money.
Okay.
So if I'm and you can look at, and I'm absolutely glad that you brought up Fresh Prince, right? So if we look at the goal is to make money as a media outlet. I'm going to create a show. I'm going to create TV, a movie, whatever it is, a media. And the goal is to make that money. What is my target population? What's my target audience? If my target audience is,
hang on, I won't answer that question, David. I won't answer that question. The target audience is how they put it, the population with the most socioeconomic power. And since the population with the most socioeconomic power is white men, the shows are always going to be targeted at white men because white men have the generational wealth. White men have the systemic power. White men are the majority of the judges, the police officers, the lawyers, all of that because of generational wealth and because of the system of white supremacy that built up to where we are now. So that's the answer to your question.
So I just want to be clear. You're saying generational wealth is the drivers behind this, right? So
generational wealth fueled by the white supremacy that has kept black and brown people out of the wealth turn. It's like It's weird how people understand generational wealth, but they don't understand generational poverty. That's weird. And speaking of Fresh Prince, the main character comes from generational poverty, and the other side of his family had generational wealth because Aunt Vivian married Philip, who was a judge. So
that's not generational wealth.
Actually, both of them came from generational poverty.
That's not generational wealth. So that's a bad example. That was a singular.
You're gonna let the black man talk. Go ahead.
I was gonna say which one, but you're missing the part where we're not reinforcing generational wealth. We're reinforcing generational poverty. And what all of the black shows that I mentioned, what they all showcase at its sort of core is that generational poverty can be broken. So let's look at Fresh Prince because that was the one you got really excited about. But let's also take a look at Martin. Let's take a look at Malcolm and Eddie. Let's take a look at Famous Jet Jackson, even. These were all shows that showcased black characters in prominent roles in positions of success that was not granted to their ancestors. So for all intent and purpose, they are all characters that come from generational poverty in order to achieve a new level of financial success. Meanwhile, you have shows of if I may be dating myself, but I used to watch a lot of television with my grandmother. You have TV shows like Dallas and Days of Our Lives and things of the nature that focus on the trauma of rich white families and their generational wealth. Well, I'm supposed to be old granddaddy's land. No, I'm supposed to get great grandmother's jewelry and all that. And it becomes a trope in and of itself. There are seldom very few black shows that operate in that sense, because then you have to get into the whole conversation of, well, why isn't there generational wealth in the black community? And there are seldom mediums run by Caucasians that are going to answer that question honestly.
Right. But what's the target?
Hang on, David. I'm gonna expand off of that real quick. So, for all intents and purposes, let's level the playing field here. You can't, like, legally you can, but if you try to do it, they'll stop you. You can't show poor people on TV. You can show poor people in movies. You can have poor people in books. You can, of course, you can talk about poverty in music all you like, but you can't feature poor people in syndicated television. And that goes back to the whole generational wealth, generational poverty thing. Like, who are the people who usually have money? White men. Usually, not always, but usually. We know that there are plenty of poor white people, don't get me wrong. And at the same time, we get, like, what was that name? Something in the House, that Nickelodeon show about, like, a black family, they move into the White House because one became president and stuff like that.
Corey in the House.
Corey in the House. Thank you so much. Corey in the House. There's, and then, like, and let's talk about homelessness real quick, right? Because we know, like, anybody can become homeless for any reason. Our highest population of homeless people are white, because we still have a white majority population in the United States. Poor, like, you will see a homeless person on TV for a few seconds. And for those few seconds, they will be depicted as extremely mentally ill, erratically violent, extremely, like, monstrously unkept, dirty, all that. And so on and so forth. So there's definitely a tilt towards demonizing all poor people, but with the understanding of how we rarely see black lead characters, because they are usually the sidekicks in proximity to whatever wealth the lead white character has. It all just builds on top of the same point of how everything that we have going on here is built off of white supremacy.
So my question to you, because you brought up some TV shows, take Martin, for example. What was the target audience for Martin? Was it 20-year-old white guys?
Okay, no. But at the same time, it wasn't explicitly saying that you couldn't enjoy it, because they actually had a couple white characters.
That's correct, right? So, and then there's the target audience was black population. That was the target audience. It was successful. With Family Matters, the target is black population. Going through and with Family Matters, okay, there's the crossing boundaries that happen with everything. Look at Sanford and Son, right? Sanford and Son with Richard Pryor. What's the target audience here? Was there a target audience in play? It was just
Sanford and Son had Richard Pryor. That wasn't Richard Pryor. That was Red Fox, babe. Not all black people look alike. Rewind.
Hold on. No, Red Fox was on there. Richard Pryor was also a cast member.
Where was Richard Pryor? Or am I thinking that Richard Pryor was lighter skinned than he actually was?
No, I don't believe Richard Pryor was on Sanford and Son.
That's what I'm saying. The guy who played the son looks like, I will admit, he does look something similar to Richard Pryor, but he is way darker skinned than Richard Pryor. Like I said, not all black people look alike. Rewind.
Yeah. So Richard Pryor started out the show himself, right? So, and Red Fox was on there. Richard Pryor was a writer. Richard Pryor was involved with the show.
Was he on it? Was he on screen?
He was on screen. So, excuse me. So, if you want to go through this with Fresh Prince, right? Was Fresh Prince targeted towards the black population, or was it just a nationally syndicated show that everybody could watch?
To answer your question, Richard Pryor only wrote 2 episodes of Fat the Sun. And while yes, these shows are geared towards black audiences, this also shows that black audiences gravitate to things that showed them.
Okay, so if that's the case,
so we're not going to skip over that. We're not going to skip over what was said here. You were wrong about Richard Pryor being on the show. And like I said, not all black people look alike, so you actually should apologize. Go ahead, David. Well, when David gets his apology together, we can continue.
I didn't realize I was muted, so I keep getting muted. So I was trying to apologize to you. Yeah, I was wrong. I thought it was Richard Pryor. It's actually Desmond Wilson. So I got my name wrong.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So it's targeted towards a black audience, but we can say, oh, well, hey, white people can watch this as well. The reason, and you can go and look this up, the reason that most of the media was targeted towards the YT population is because that's the higher percentage of the population. If 13% of the population is black and the majority of the population is YT, then we're going to say, hey, I want the majority here. I'm chasing majority dollars, not minority dollars. Right? So we can't say like we do now.
But those same minority dollars carried these TV shows to a level of success and acclaim that we still talk about to this day.
Right. So
why wouldn't companies, television media acknowledge that and be like, you know what? Maybe we should start reaching for more dollars, period.
Do you think that the Cosby Show?
Hang on, let's talk about the population changes as well, because y'all keep saying 13%.
It's been 13%.
The population changes, including immigration, have also led to shows like Modern Family and so many other shows.
Yeah.
And also the Cleveland show got its own spinoff.
And the Cleveland show
addressing David, you can hang on a second. So with the addressing of the population side, changing populations, including immigration, it's like to me, it's kind of weird to reach back towards anything before Family Matters, and even reaching back that far, right? Because now we have Steven Universe with like, yeah, those characters are aliens, but like we can make alignments here. We also have shows like, well, I guess Adventure Time isn't a good example, but we have
it's hard, right?
Plenty of other shows like Miraculous Ladybug.
Yeah.
Like I know people have feelings about Miraculous Ladybug. I do too. But Miraculous Ladybug, even though that show takes place in France, they're doing a good job of representing their population changes as well in that show. Yeah. By my standard, I'm not French.
But it's hard, right? So
not really. It's just I don't remember that shit because I don't really watch TV anymore.
Yeah. So my question, like, let's take, well, you can take Fresh Prince, but let's take the Cosby Show, right? Was the Cosby Show popular? Was the Cosby Show popular because they were a black family, or because it was a good show?
Cosby Show was popular because Bill Cosby. By the time he got to the Cosby Show, he already did other shit and did other shit after that.
And again,
Bill Cosby was his own empire.
Was the Cosby Show successful because it's a good show or because it was a black family?
Yes.
Both. Bill Cosby already knew what he was doing by the time he got to the Cosby Show. That wasn't, you can't talk about that man like that was his first rodeo.
I didn't say it was his first rodeo. I just asked, was it successful?
Both.
So there we go. If it can be both, right, then you can't say which is it contributing more, that it's a good show or that Bill Cosby was there and it's a black family. Which contributed more to the success?
Both.
Yes. No. Which one contributed more? Majority.
Yes.
Both.
Yep. So that's the problem. Is you can't say both as a majority.
Why
it was
not?
both. You are, that is so far, okay, so far be it from me to stand up for Bill Cosby, but it is absolutely asinine to try to act like this man doesn't have a reputation and he didn't do other shit before he got there. That is so fucking disingenuous.
Which contributed more?
My guy, get the fuck out of here, because you got me defending Bill Cosby. Fuck off. Heritage, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. And you know what, Ison, you haven't talked in a while. You can respond to that, and then we can move on to Heritage.
Oh no, please go ahead, Heritage. Once we started having to defend Bill Cosby, I was kind of done with myself.
Yeah, facts. Go ahead, Heritage.
What were you guys talking about, like 90s sitcoms or something?
I wish.
He was trying to make the point that media representation is proof that white supremacy isn't real. Long story short. But then we got to Bill Cosby, and like the Cosby Show was successful because it was good writing. Because Bill Cosby was already a comedian. He knows how to write. And I know that's probably subjective, but like for what TV used to be back then, we got what we expected from Bill Cosby. And like he was like Bill Cosby already had his shit going on by the time we got to the Cosby Show. This isn't like Tyler Perry is also a bad example. This isn't like other people that just kind of show up who are just actors and shit. Bill Cosby already had shit by the time we got to the Cosby Show. So like putting both of us in a position where now we have to defend Bill Cosby after everything that has transpired at this point was like, the conversation is going nowhere. We're not defending Bill Cosby. Get the fuck up out of here.
I think Fresh Prince was better anyway, so.
I mean, with the way things transpired with that, I'm glad he slapped Chris Rock. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm mostly interested in the Second Amendment topic.
I want to take a quick commercial break. Y'all please do share the live. We can get more people in on this, and also we can pivot back to the topic because the white man came in here and decided to colonize the conversation real quickly. We got rid of him. Please do share the live and get more because we're talking about 4B2A. And do all the things, tap the screen, etc. Go ahead, Heritage.
Okay, these are two separate topics, right?
No, this is about how these two things work hand in hand.
Okay, so are you pro like women like exercising their Second Amendment right? Is that like
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm a 2A supporter as well, and I'm echoing for some reason. Hold on.
Okay, take your time. Em, if you'd like to come up, you're welcome to as well.
Echo. Okay, I think it's better.
Okay.
So I'm a 2A supporter, and I always am a little bit perplexed on why I would intuitively assume that like feminist movements would be like the most pro 2A and like pro carry communities out there, because there's literally nothing else in nature other than a firearm that is more of an equalizer than a firearm. It literally doesn't matter how small a person is. It doesn't matter how big their attacker is. If the person's carrying, they have an advantage. So I guess I would agree with you that if women feel that men are posing too high of a risk for them in society, the most pragmatic thing they could do is actually carry something that they could defend themselves with.
So, and like, I've seen this conversation, this could be anecdotal. I don't know what either of y'all have seen, but I've seen more women actually express that, they weren't considering getting a firearm before, but they are now, because it's not just about women or people who are joining 4B or like vocally in support of 4B. It's about how we're looking at things happening at least over the next 4 years. A lot of us, I don't know how many are vocalizing this. I'm going to say the people in my circles. I am one of the people who shares the opinion that gender-based violence is going to be on the rise over the next 4 years, no matter how this goes. So they're not just doing the firearms, because self-defense isn't just firearms. It's also about de-escalation. It's also about weapons that aren't firearms, how to use impractical weapons like soup for your family or folding chairs for the people. It's about all the things. Non-lethal plastic weapons are also back on the rise because you can get those through security checks. Out here in Minnesota, we love those foldable, retractable canes, things like that. So it's all about defending yourself.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think women should take control of their own destiny, and I'm echoing.
Okay, if you need to leave and come back, I'll let you back up.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay. Ison, what would you like to say about the topic while we wait?
While yes, there is the surface understanding that women should be carrying more. The flip side to that, which doesn't often get or is overlooked because of the valiant and pageantry of that original statement, is that a lot of people are using the fact that women should carry as an excuse to continue carrying unnecessarily. So
I'm sorry. Would you repeat that? The last part of your sentence cut out.
They use women as a scapegoat in order to continue allowing themselves to carry.
I don't know what's going on. The last part of your sentence keeps cutting out, so I'm gonna mute and hopefully that'll fix it. Oh, wait, I think the person has a phone call or a text message. But
I think the point. I'm still echoing crap.
Hang on, let me mute and then you can talk.
Did that fix it? I think so. I think the point that person was trying to make, if I understand, is that some people will use they'll justify the way men continue to act and just say, yeah, we'll carry. It's just, I don't think that's really what it is. It's like there's always going to be a small subset of men that are incredibly violent. It doesn't matter how they were raised. It's just like there's always going to be a small sect of the total male population that's going to be incredibly violent. This is why men fill up, or like 95% of all violent offenders in prisons. So like it just seems kind of naive to just it's you can hope for a future where men will be less violent, but that day's not going to be tomorrow. So like, to be pragmatic about it, you might as well just carry.
Okay,
men aren't going to change the way they act overnight.
But at the same time, if we keep putting off tomorrows, it'll eventually just never happen.
No, but I'm not saying that that men will never be better. I'm saying they're not going to be better tomorrow. That's for sure.
Right.
Like, we agree on that, right?
So while we're not expecting it by tomorrow, but then tomorrow gets here, and the same thing that's said today is said tomorrow about the next day, and it just keeps going on and going on and going on, and there's never a true attempt made.
No, I'm not saying don't make the attempt. That's literally not what I'm saying. Like, make the attempt. Like, make a societal attempt to make society, or to make men in society less violent.
So I think hang on a second. I think what's happening here is reading too much into like the words. I understand what you're saying, Ison, and please correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
It's made up. It's fine.
I'm sorry, what?
It's made up. It's fine.
Okay. It's just like the direct comment is that men's behavior is not going to change tomorrow. It's not going to change overnight. But things like the 4B movement are to get men to address these systemic things, or women aren't going to put up with their shit anymore. And it's like, there have been a lot of systemic reasons why women have been put up with men's shit. I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir when I talk about how women weren't allowed to have bank accounts, women weren't allowed to own property, women were relegated to very few specific jobs, so on and so forth. Two of those issues we don't have anymore, whereas it's still hard for women to get into some parts of the workforce because of men's behavior. Women can also be mechanics. Women can also run sports teams, et cetera, but it's still like a male-dominated field because men don't want women there, not because women aren't capable. And this stuff like 4B is, all right, you don't want us around, we're not going to be around. You can get, you like, we're tired of taking on your baggage. You get your shit together over there, we'll be building community over here. That's what it's about. Like every step leads towards it. So like two things can be true, right? Men aren't going to change their behavior tomorrow, but they're going to start considering it today, because you saw all these fucking butthurt ass white men that rolled through here because they know they're the main ones. For all this shit about black men and like all these podcasts and all this shit, which like, not to say that there aren't any white men, but there's too many black men on that ship. Black men, for a lot of it, we got our shit together. A lot of black men operate with the system that we are all given, and then go forward in educating themselves and how that shit is wrong and how we've contributed to hurting everybody else, but first and foremost are the black women. And then some people just live in that propaganda and try to get them white dollars with this whole low value women and all this shit here. But like black men who like women, regardless of race, ain't trying to hear none of that shit. They over there with they over there being stepdad to the two kids that she had from her previous relationship, and they fine, and so on and so forth. So men might not change their behavior tomorrow, but they're gonna start considering it today.
Yeah, they are definitely not going to change their behavior tomorrow.
And I want to go back to what you were saying about how basically arming women can lead to men not needing to see how they will change their behavior because now the women are armed. So the problem has been, from my perspective, is that men aren't afraid of women, and the women need to make the men afraid. That's the point.
Good point.
Men, with the violence-based culture that we have, fear leads a lot of things. And when the men are afraid of women, then they'll figure it out. Because now they don't want to get some new piercings added, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, if enough new stories come out of men who are trying to assault women end up getting unalived by her pew pew, yeah, I think that's going to create a wider culture where the sort of men who are willing to do those sorts of things to women, they will like necessarily have to think again. Even criminals are less likely to attack places or steal from places where they know that there are arms inside. And I think that sort of logic would translate to why would a man attack a woman when there's a very good possibility that his life will be claimed in trying to do that act. So
it's like, let's look at it. And I know people don't like it. Right. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So let's look at it from this way, right? How many people do you know are running in trying to shoot up police departments versus how many men do you know are running in trying to shoot up schools, grocery stores, movie theaters, places where guns aren't usually allowed? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And there's so many people that hate cops that, like, if there was any police station in the country that had no arms inside, you know that place would be shot up tomorrow.
Okay, the idea that the answer, and this is not me saying that women shouldn't arm themselves. This is me saying that the idea to fix violence is to perpetuate more violence is ridiculous, because there was a story about a shooting that was retroactively made worse because there were so many people carrying, they all started shooting at each other. There are stories that are on the rise of people being shot during active shootings because the police couldn't identify who the accountable party was.
So I haven't heard about that. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying I haven't heard that. And like I feel you on, we don't want our society to descend back into the Wild West. I feel that.
And by all means, I 100%. I take my wife and we go to the gun range I actually have a little bit of a target area set up in my backyard, but simultaneously, there are too many people using the experiences of others to justify their fears. So while yes, armed women, there still needs to be attention paid to men by men, holding men accountable. Because while yes, well, she could have a gun, or you could surround yourself with decent human beings who wouldn't allow you to continue this behavior in the first place.
Also, that you're right. These things for systemic change, these things have to work in tandem. Like men need to be afraid of women, and men need to hold other men accountable. You absolutely right.
Yeah, I just don't get like where that sort of logic applies because like I mean, look, I think men should hold men accountable as well, but I just think of the vast amount of circumstances where like, where violence is being perpetuated on women against men. It's not like the guys are sitting there in the group and then one guy's like rubbing his hands together and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go assault that woman, and they all like pat him on the back. No, like if any man, like 99% of men, if they said something like that to their male friends, one of them's going to slap them across the face as hard as possible. That's like I've never come across any male friend group where I could even think that any of the guys in there would be like, oh yeah, you go do that. Like
Okay,
men are
I
not
just saw a
as
video.
toxic as your
Everybody hang on, because now two people are starting to talk at once. Everybody hang on.
I,
So,
I, I saw a video on Twitter of four men stomping a woman out.
what like who are these men?
I
Or
don't know
these just
them
like regular
personally,
dudes?
all right. So both of y'all hang on real quick. So what both of y'all so both of y'all are correct, right? But it's about the men that you are around. There are men that are going to just like there are men who will be like, hey, that's fucked up. What the fuck is wrong with you? There's also going to be men who are going to join in. That's what gang rape is. Like that's that's what Ison was just talking about. Like they're like groups of people fucking being violent on somebody else. Like that's what getting jumped is. Like men attacking other men. So like let's keep in mind just for a second that it is 1 in 3 women and it is 1 in 6 men. That is not just rape. That is stalking. That is being verbally sexually harassed. It's all of that. Everything that leads up, everything that we think about in terms of like how we use violence to communicate dominance, including but not limited to stalking. It's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men before the age of 25. These men are fucking out here.
Yeah, I think 1 in 3 statistic is a little like the metric that you have to the standard that they're using is just very broad. So like
So 1 in 3, that includes all sexual violence.
but that includes like being whistled at, right? Like
not necessarily. Well, maybe if it was.
No, it does. Catcalling counts. So like,
okay.
Like I mean, look, like.
So
I guarantee every single attractive male on the planet has been catcalled by a woman at some point in their life.
And men. That's the thing. 90% of the time, it's men perpetuating these violent crimes.
No. Like have you ever seen the video of where a model walks with someone's walking in front of the model? They did this with both an attractive woman and an attractive man. Yeah. And in both circumstances, they're walking through New York City. The attractive man literally has women chasing after him, like pretty much harassing him, like, "Oh, my friend, what's your number?" Like, "Oh, you look good." Like, so I just don't think that counts as like SA. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's not
always about SA. It's like first of all, and men. I saw that video as well. It was also men. Like, and I'm not trying to undermine what you're saying. Like, what you're ultimately saying is women are capable of violence. Yes, women are in fact capable of violence. Women are capable of harm. I'm saying
it's not violence.
Most of the time, it's men doing this shit. And also, let's say we take cat calling out of it. Let's say we take non-violent, only verbal out of it, right? Let's remove cat calling. Then what? It's going to be 1 in 4. We're gonna say let's say it's the same. 1 in 6 for women and 1 in 10 for men. If we remove catcalling, let's say that.
I don't
Still,
know. Maybe it would only be 1 in 4. Maybe it'd be more. But
still, that's still a problem, ain't it?
I mean, yeah, if it's 1 in 5, that's still a problem.
We
Obviously.
should. What's the what is this how do we call ourselves a civilized society when 1 in 6 women and 1 in 10 men are made to feel unsafe?
It's because our society has not yet taken out some of the worst parts of our nature out of the equation. I think there's certain parts of our society that are actually going to accentuate many other problems. It's like when people point to like certain European or like certain Asian countries that have very, very low like violence against women, like all of these countries are like non-melting pots. Like it is literally one culture, 99.5% homogenous. Places like Japan, places like Sweden, like all those all those like Scandinavian countries. Like there's something there are negative consequences from having literally hundreds of different cultures inside of one same place. Look, I love that we are this melting pot, and there's lots of positives that come from it. But there's also some, Americans, especially today, do not really have like a unified sense of what it means to be an American. If you ask a Swede what it means to be a Swede, they're going to have some sense of like national community, some sense of national pride. So yeah, America is just a very odd place, and that's why we have like all these statistics. They look very bad for America.
And why is that?
Why is what?
How did we get here to this diverse population? How did that happen?
Like from having like a way more open immigration policy than most of the countries on the earth.
That's the wrong answer. The correct answer is colonization, chattel slavery, and native genocide. What do you expect?
You realize that like people from all over the world are here, not just from Africa,
What
right?
do you expect from a country built off chattel slavery and genocide? Because keep in mind, those other countries that you listed, they not built off chattel slavery and native genocide for the most part.
Yeah, they are.
I said for the most part.
No, but they are. They just didn't have race-based chattel slavery. They had chattel slavery, it just wasn't based on race. Chattel slavery is only when a slave can be passed down from ancestors. The ancient Israelites had chattel slavery
and native genocide. Where are the native Japanese people heritage?
Yeah, the native Japanese people are the Japanese. It's because they haven't been able to be conquered the entire time. That's literally why. It's not because like the people around them were more moral. It's just that they were geographically isolated, and no one was able to conquer them, even the Mongols.
But you just brought up how morally they were about not being sexual deviants.
Yeah.
We're talking about we're talking about things like hundreds of years ago. I'm not like the thing I just said is not talking about right now. Like no one is trying to conquer Japan right now. Like I'm talking about when the Mongols tried to conquer Japan.
But even with that kind of is irrelevant to the current conversation, considering you were talking about how moral we are when it comes to sexual indecency now.
Yeah, especially when you brought up immigration.
Yeah, like having a the more non-homogenous a population, the more problems they're going to have. There are going to be a vast amount of benefits that country gets from being non-homogenous, but there's just going to be some downsides. Like, why would that be surprising or unintuitive to you?
You mean how even though they're all from Japan, Japanese women still suffer sexual assault by Japanese men?
Yeah, when did I say that they don't have sexual or essay?
You were talking about their morality. You brought that up.
I'm saying that nations that are homogenous have a much lower SA rate than us. It's not shouldn't be surprising to you.
Well, they have don't they have like more people?
They have more men to women, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
I think China still has that issue where they have more men to women because of femicide. But I don't know about Japan. I know China has that. So my thing is going by population size, which may not necessarily be in coordination with land size. But if you're comparing countries with smaller populations to ours, then we're just going to have more crime because we have more people. That's just not making sense.
I'd be talking about per capita, like not overall per capita, like per 100,000 citizens.
Okay.
Like how many people are essayed per 100,000 citizens?
Japan is often said to have one of the lowest grape rates in the world, and Japanese police claim to solve 97% of grape cases, but in reality, only 5 to 10% of grape victims reported to the police, and police record half or less of reported cases, while prosecutors charge about 1/3 of recorded cases. The result of this process of caseload attrition is that for every 1,000 grapes in Japan, only 10 to 20 result in a criminal conviction, and fewer than half of convicted grapists are incarcerated.
And there you have it. And we have that same problem here, mind you.
Oh, wait.
That's my point.
So sorry.
Any of those problems.
Wait. It's funny that you just said that, host, because the next sentence is this article shows the impunity of. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I skipped it. Similar patterns characterize Japan's criminal justice response to other sex crimes. So, yeah, it's pretty much saying that they take SA as seriously as we do here.
Yeah, but do you realize that only helps my argument, right? Because like the
How?
essay
When
rate
you said that they're not
no,
as bad
listen.
as it.
The essay rate in England and in the United States is between 30 and 50 times higher than in Japan. But you're saying, oh, but it's not being totally accurately reported because of like the things that you were just saying about Japan. Those same exact problems happen in America too. So like,
not that doesn't contribute to your point.
What you said?
No, it does. No, it literally helps my point that they are facing similar problems, but still our grape rate is 50 times higher than theirs.
We don't know that because it's not accurately reported.
But it's not accurately reported in America either.
Yeah, so it doesn't. So that's not.
Heritage. So you're saying that there's something very wrong happening in Japan. That their grape rate is being.
Heritage, you need to stop. You need to take a breath. You need to take a glass of water because right now you're starting to go on a tangent. So what we're going to do here is we're going to slow down and we're going to absorb the information that we got, and we're only going to operate off that. Now, what Iceland said is, like, that's an objective fact. Like, misogyny is an international phenomenon.
So is it 50 times worse there than it is here?
We don't know that because it's underreported.
But isn't the reason that it's being underreported because of misogyny, right? So like if their grape rate is 50 times lower than ours, that would mean they would have to have 50 times the amount of misogyny to make up for those numbers.
Well,
like that's literally statistically that's how that would have to work.
Hang on, we're gonna let Heritage be right because I hear him getting worked up in his voice. We're gonna move on to Chico Blanco. I'm sorry, not Chico Blanco. Chico Blanco, what's up?
What's up? So, are
how old are you, first of all? Hang on. How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. All right, go ahead.
Are you pro Second Amendment or?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am too. So what exactly is the 4B movement? I don't understand it.
So this is an education space. You got to know what you're talking about before you come up. All right. So we're not going to get anywhere by arguing. We're just going to let that shit go. Heritage, you're right. Anyway, so back to the United States. The point is that the 4B movement in the United States, just like it is in Korea, is pointing towards, hey, men, we've told you repeatedly that you are fucking up and you're not listening. So we are going to go our own way from you. That's the point.
Host, it's a genuine question. What percentage of women would have to partake in the 4B for you to...
Hang on a second. I said this isn't an educational space. Chico Blanco, it's not my fault if you're not listening. This is not an educational space. You know what you're talking about before you come up. And to answer your question, I don't know. The point is that, so it only, how much of a population does it take to start a revolution? 3%?
Depends how active the people in that revolution are.
No, just answer my question. How many people there's a number for it? I think it's like 3% or something. It's not even like 13%.
Yeah, I know. Like only 3% of the colonists in America were patriots.
Okay, so 3%. So I guess the proper answer to your question would be 3% of women.
But that's if the people you have leading that revolution are literally some of the leading geniuses that have ever lived.
Chico Blanco, if you don't like the live, you can leave. As a matter of fact, let me help you. There you go. All right.
So, but 3% of women obviously would not be able to persuade all of men, because like what's the whole point of 4B, right? Is that women are like,
I think.
So that's it. Hang on a second. That's interesting that you use that word persuade. This ain't about persuading nobody. This is about fuck off. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you'd be persuading men to be less violent by fucking off, right?
This is about fuck off. This isn't you.
Fuck off for what? To what end?
This is about you did this. This is about you did this shit. We've been telling you repeatedly that you did this shit. You're not listening, so fuck off.
So 4B people don't actually, like, they literally don't want men to become less violent. It's just, like, we've made our decision, we're going to be separate forever.
Yeah, it's about female separatism.
Okay, well, I wouldn't expect everyone in 4B to have a similar thing. It's just, that's the first time I've ever heard that interpretation of 4B.
You've never heard of Sasha.
Who's Sasha?
Sasha and quite a few other women are saying that it's a female separatist movement.
I mean, really, it's just everyone else.
It's a autonomous movement because it's like it can look like whatever the person participating wants it to look like. It's an autonomous movement first, and then you can talk to individuals about what they perceive it as they're participating or supporting. But
I just don't believe you that you think. I just genuinely don't believe you when you say that you think any country can function when the males and the females literally just live complete and separate lives. Completely disassociated from another. That obviously will not work.
Okay, well then let it fail. Let it fail on its own. That's fine.
No, because I'm not just gonna let my country dissolve into madness because your country, it's all of our country.
No, oh my God, it's giving. This land was made for you and me. Oh my God. First you want to ignore how important it is that sexual assault and rape is underreported.
Yeah, just let your country die. Like, who cares?
Let America die. Let this bitch crumble. Report me to the FBI. Fuck America. Go ahead, Iceland.
I mean, it was the country just elected a racist rapist, but yeah. Like I don't want to see my country descend into chaos.
I want this bitch dead. I want the country that my ancestors built for free to fall to the fucking ground. And that is on period.
That part, indeed. I've enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try and grab a nap before I need to pick my girls up from school.
That's what's up. You take care now. Thank you so much for coming. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a follow, okay?
Oh, I beat you to it. Thank you.
All right, on. Take care now.
Thanks.
All right. And with that being said, I'm also going to head out. I should eat. I should nourish myself. But y'all grab a gun, shoot a Nazi, and I'll see you later.